everyone, welcome to the show Walk the Talk with Sourabh Sisodiya. Today's guest of honor is someone who's making the headlines with his amazing content. He's known for combining comedy and acting into his content and is making finance simpler for everyone. And if you still haven't guessed him, let me introduce him with a rhyme. He says, follow my man, psych, and kya fook ke aaye ya be. He started on his own and made his way. With his amazing content, he's making finance fun. And he's none other than Mr. Sharan.
Hi, thank you so much, Sourabh. Thank you so much for having me here. It's wonderful to be here. That was one hell of an introduction, but it is follow man finance with Sharan.
That only you can do. Follow my man. That is your trademark. And thank you, Sharan, for taking out time. I really appreciate it and looking forward to an amazing conversation with you today.
Absolutely.
So let's get started.
Yeah.
We all know the real life Sharan, who's the witty guy, humorous. But how is Sharan as a person in real life?
In real life, if you were to meet me or if you were to ask my friends, all of them are shocked that I have now become a full-time content creator. Right? Nobody would have imagined that I got into social media and have become, a influencer. Because pre-pandemic or joining Instagram, I was a very introverted person. If I joined Instagram, in 2020, right? It's 2022 now. And the reason I joined is because I had just come back from Europe. I had a lot of pictures, so I just wanted to post some pictures. I'm someone who posts only 5 pictures in a year, right? I get very scared of commenting on someone else's post because I worry about what other people say. So I was that side of a person. So I think a remnant of that still exists with me today. So even though I'm this high energetic person on camera, in real life I'm just like a normal guy who talks normally, doesn't sound like he's always on high energy or anything. But that's about it. Yeah.
So you said you are an introvert, right?
Yeah.
But when I watch your content, the comedy, the acting, it seems that you are an actor by yourself. So how did a shy person like you get into acting, get into comedy and create such amazing content?
Right. So it was a matter of survival of the fittest, I would say. So what happened was when finance content on Instagram blew up, I was creating my own content. I was actually, during my early days, before, when I had like 300, 400 followers, I used to hold a camera, selfie camera and just talk to camera, face to face. I could finish shooting a video in like 1 minute. That's it. But as more and more content creators came in the education space, it was very difficult to stay relevant. So what happened was at one point of time, there's this new kind of content, which is, dancing and explaining finance became very popular, right? And these kind of content creators were getting all the traction and reach. And content creators like me, who were just looking at the camera, we were not getting any reach. So when I tried to dance and explain these finance topics, and I'm not a dancer, so I failed miserably. 1-2 videos I did, and then I was like, I'm not doing this. I'm doing it just for views, and that should not be why you make content. You should make content to educate people. So I was like, okay, I'm not doing this. Then I was like, what is next? How else can I differentiate myself? I can't dance. I can't do anything. I can't do dance. So what can I do? So then I thought, let me do skits. So I was looking at some international content creators. They were doing skits in the business domain, productivity domain. So I was inspired by that. So I thought, let me do that for finance. And initially I was just doing, without acting, just normal dialogues here and there. But then the thing is the way I speak, right, with my friends, my Bangalore accent, Bangalore slang, all that came in that scripting process. And while I was saying that in my dialogues, people found it very, very, humorous and funny. Even though I never intended to be humorous, that is my way of talking in real life. So that came out in my scripts. And then when people were also getting entertained, I thought, okay, let me put more jokes. Right? And then slowly my acting also improved. It's like, I wouldn't say I had any acting training or practice. It is just looking at the camera, doing my best. So these days it takes me 2 hours to act, right? For a 30-second video, right? So it's just trial and error. Do something dialogue, see the camera, keep doing it over and over again. Trial and error, whatever you do, you will learn. Except for dancing for me. But at least acting, it worked for me. So that's how it happened.
Amazing. And I have watched one of your dancing video also on Insta, on your personal profile. That was also good.
Right.
I think that Ayush it was.
Right.
So I know that your whatever you've done is really admirable, but I know the journey, there must have been a lot of ups and downs. So if you could walk us back in time and see how you fought all odds to become the successful person you are today, because you are a celebrity, no less than a celebrity. So can you walk us through the entire journey? Okay, I started like this. Like, how was the journey been till now? Because I am sure there must be a lot of ups and downs. So how has your journey been till now?
So when you see ups and downs, I wouldn't say the downs are such like a big failure or anything. Like for example, in the corporate career, downs could be something like getting fired or not getting a promotion, and that's what happened with me, by the way. Before I became a content creator, I was in KPMG working as a management consultant, and I was up for promotion. I knew that. Manager told me my name was there in the list. Then lockdown happened. Because lockdown happened, KPMG said no promotion for everybody. Right? So I was really sad. Right? And then I was put in a project which was not at all interesting. So then I was like, not at all happy with what I'm doing. 14 hours I'm working. Work is also not good. Promotion bhi nahi hai, paisa bhi nahi hai. So I was like very, very frustrated. So I quit my job. So I would say that would be the down. And then after that, I was already inspired by a lot of content creators already by then. I was watching Ali Abdal, who is a productivity content creator based out of UK. He's also 25 years old. I'm also 25 years old. He is a UK doctor while also doing YouTube. I'm like, if he can do, why can't I do? Then he put out a video about becoming a millionaire. 1 year, how much money he made. He said $1 million. So that was very inspiring for me. So even I started getting into content creation. Once you start getting into content creation, I wouldn't say there's too many ups and downs. I would say your emotions are very much determined by the algorithm's performance, right? So it gets very, very, I would say, it's a very mentally exhausting work, right? So I would say, 8 hours of doing content creation is probably equal to 25 hours or 30 hours of doing, corporate work. Because content creation, firstly, it requires a lot of creative mental exertion, number one. And number two is that there is your work is not just evaluated by your boss or manager. It is evaluated by the whole world.
Yes.
Right? And that is seen in the comment section. And then you will read the comment section. And then someone will say this is not correct. Then you'll get into fights. All of that takes a big toll on you. So learning how to deal with that sort of mental exhaustion is important in the beginning. So 1 or 2 months it was very difficult for me to get used to that. Right? And apart from that, I would have many complaints. Right? Then Instagram has been very kind, algorithm favors me, content is blowing up. But at the same time, it's also ensuring that you're not complacent, right? So that's another thing. Because in a corporate job, you could be doing the same thing for 1 year and still get a promotion, right? I mean, do consistently, be performing well, you'll do well. In content creation, it's not like that. Especially in Instagram, if you are doing the same thing that you did 3-4 months back, people will get bored, right? So the need to innovate yourself continuously is very high. So that is taking a huge toll on you. So that is still there. Even today as I talk to you, that is still there. But learning how to deal with it and telling yourself that, okay, this is a part of the game. This is how it is. I need to evolve every day. Otherwise, I'm going to perish. So I've made peace with it. So that is what I would say is the everyday downs of life.
And I must say that your content has, like, I am following you since last 1.5 years. And the way you have improved your content after every few months is amazing. And I want to know that what is the secret sauce? Because I know one thing which I have seen is using comedy, using acting, using pop culture references.
Right.
But how do you research? Because there's something which I see for the first time that I've never read on the internet, litigation financing to say, and some other insurance kind of, but which was never there. And so where do you research all such content? Like, how much time does it take? What is the process?
Yeah. Sure. So when I started, I was doing everything by myself, but now I have a team, very strong research team, around 5 people working with me. So the genesis of every idea might start from a simple newspaper article, let's say Economic Times or Mint. Right, back then when I was creating content, if I just find one article and if it's saying something, let's say for example, don't buy a home in your 20s, because rental yield, whatever explanation, I will take it at face value, make a video and post it. But what happened is once I reached the 100K mark, one of my reels, it got some feedback that it was not entirely correct. And it was not actually, I told whatever is there in the article, right? So I felt like, that much enough, that it's not enough anymore to just read an article and post about it. Because there still could be edge cases, there could still be mistakes about it. So now what I do is, once I have an article, I'll cross-reference it with 4 or 5 articles. Second, what I'll do, I'll try to get to the original source. It could be a RBI circular. That could be one original source, or it could be the income tax law book only, right? Or I can talk to my CA. That's again fact checking is there. Third, what I do is I will create Excel models backtesting that data. For example, let's say rent versus buy. I will build that model on Excel and see what the article is saying is right or wrong. So this entire process of research may take anywhere from 2 to 3 days, right, for one 30-second video. So that is the research part of it. Then other sources of information, I follow a lot of personal finance blogs, and I surround myself with all finance nerds. Right, for example, Kushal, your very good friend, he is also someone who I continuously reach out to whenever I have a doubt on taxation. He's after all some 4th or 5th rank CA in the country. So I do all of this to continuously keep myself updated. Then I also read books. For example, I read very, very not so famous books. For example, there's this book called Dollars and Cents, which talks about how brands are using these tactics to get more money from us. How they are structuring discounts so that we are spending more money. So all these sort of things I love reading about, money psychology and all of that. So this is how I get my content. And then obviously the scripting and the acting I only have to do. I cannot create a structure around that. That is all one-man army. Then after that, editing and all of that is taken care of by editors. And then after the post, I spend at least 2 to 3 hours on replying to comment section. So altogether, it takes anywhere from 12 to 14 hours to create a 60-second video on Instagram.
That's a lot of effort and a lot of time. So what we see, 60 seconds. So please do follow my man whenever he says that, because that actually requires a lot of efforts. And you mentioned the team, and I recently saw your post on LinkedIn post on your sister.
Yeah.
So I want to know, like generally siblings have a Tom and Jerry kind of relationship. So how is your bond with your sister, and how instrumental she has been in your success?
Very instrumental. I would say without her, no finance or Sharan at all. That instrumental, right? As kids, all of us, we used to fight, and there was a small age gap between us, just 2 years. So we used to fight a lot. If there was a huge age gap, then I would probably be scared of her and not fight. But because there was a small age gap, we used to get into a lot of fights. But then I think eventually by the time we turned 20, then I think we became mature adults. And coming to the content creation part of it, my sister, on the other hand, who is very, very social media savvy, she already knew so many things about the social media, about Instagram. I was someone who didn't even know what a reel was when I started doing reels. Right? She is the one who told me, let's do reels, because that is what is blowing up. So that is number one. Number two is that she helps me with editing my videos. So all the kind of cool edits that you see, the transitions, the sound effects, all of that she does. And also when it comes to social media tactics, for example, you need to continuously monitor other content that is being put out on Instagram to learn what is working and not working, to understand what is dying out, what is this new trend. So all of that research she does so that I can incorporate it into my skit and acting. So she plays a crucial role. Yeah, we talk every day. We're like proper, business partners.
Great.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that your sister played an instrumental role, and you also mentioned that it takes a lot of time to just create a 60-second content.
Yeah.
So 2 questions. How does a content creator like you make money? And if someone who's actually looking to do this full time and quit his job, what would be your advice to him? Because this takes time, right? It took you 2 years to where you are.
Yeah.
So basically 2 questions. How do you make money as a content creator, and your advice to someone who wants to actually do this and start by quitting his job?
Got it. So first thing, the ways that a content creator can make money. First one is, so pre-Instagram, most of the content creators were YouTube content creators, and there, YouTube pays the creator for it's called ad revenue. Meaning in a 10-minute video, if you see 2 or 3 ads, that money, a portion of that money will go to that creator. So that is one monetization model which YouTube has. Instagram unfortunately doesn't pay for that particular ads, because they don't run ads in the reels. So Instagram doesn't pay for that. Next thing is brand deals, which you see. That's the biggest income source for 90% of content creators today. Doing brand integrations. For example, if I do a brand deal with some asset management company, right? So then that brand will pay me money, right? Obviously, the selection of a brand is something which I take a lot of attention to. I get almost 200 emails every month, and I work with only 4 of them. right? So the due diligence process that I conduct will be very, very intense to pick the best companies, which I truly believe in. So then to take it one step further, the bigger content creators, once you cross 500k, 600k followers, then content creators will start looking at their content creation like a business. And looking at a business, they might launch a personal finance course. So they'll get into the tech part of it. Now, let's say when you do a course, the upside is unlimited, right? Because you do the work once and then the technology will take care of it, right? More and more you can just sell. That's the third thing. And the last one, I would say, yeah, these days even TV ads, big content creators are getting opportunities to become part of TV ads. So I got the opportunity to get an IPL ad. So that's also there. So yeah, I would say these are the monetization opportunities. Now, for someone who wants to understand how lucrative it is and whether they quit their job, I would say if you look at it from a pure reach point of view, and to make it simpler, I would say in terms of number of followers. Obviously, there will be huge differences based on even if two people have the same number of followers based on their engagement and reach and all of that. But to keep it simple, I'll say in terms of followers, I would say someone who has, reaching 10k followers today, someone who puts in effort for at least 6 months will reach. If he's putting content 4 to 5 times a week, good content 4 to 5 times a week, he'll reach 10k followers in 6 months today, right? Someone who reaches 10k followers, I would say shouldn't quit their job, but it's good enough money to live in a tier 2 city, right? Maybe living in a metro city like Bangalore might be difficult, right? But you can still live, right? But not enough to, party and, buy whatever expensive stuff you want. I think once you cross the 50-60k mark, then you can think of quitting your job full time and work into content creation full time. I think that's enough money then to actually justify to your parents, right? I want to quit my job. So
I think that's the answer that would benefit a lot of content creators, because there's nothing much out in the open about how should one start this content creation journey, what is the money that can be made, but you made it simple.
Yeah.
Now I want to ask you one question that you made to Columbia School, right? But before that, you didn't make it to the IITs, you didn't make it to the IIMs.
Yeah.
So what were your learnings from these setbacks and how that has changed you as a person?
So, so I tried to get into IITs, that was basically, what everybody did when we were 15, 16. Right? That was not a well thought out thing, because that is plainly listening to my parents what they had to say without doing my own research, right? So that obviously I was sad and disappointed because I thought that was everything that you needed in life. Then I get into a tier 2 engineering college, and there after that again I thought, okay, next big thing is IIM, and IIT nahi hua to IIM kar denge. So there what happened was I wrote a CAT, and then I got like 97 percentile, but I belong to general category, so Ganta bhi nahi milta. So that's what happened. And then it is about if you don't get IIT IIM, then you go abroad. So then I had to research about what are the best US MBA colleges. And so the next 4 years, once I started working, I was concentrating just on making my MBA application better, right? So I would say it's that. Nothing profound would have happened. It's just pivoting, right? Ye nahi hua to ye kar denge. Just keep changing your targets. So don't try to do the same thing over and over again. Because, for example, if I had kept trying CAT over and over again, I had already crossed 2-3 years of work experience. Because then getting into an IIM might not be the best thing, because you will be surrounded by people with less number of work experience. Because then it will make sense to go abroad. So that's what happened. So always understanding that where your strengths, weaknesses lie, and then keep pivoting.
So you mentioned Columbia Business School. So are you actually planning to do an MBA after reaching so much popularity, or so that has gone for a toss now?
So when I applied for Columbia, I had almost 200k followers, and I genuinely wanted to go, and I still want to go. Right at this point, at this juncture, the opportunity cost is a little too high. I'm still evaluating, but I'm probably going to defer my admission for now because the opportunity cost is too high, and it's like a wave, right? I can do MBA anytime. MBA is not going anywhere. It's been for 100 years, but nobody knows how long the wave of content creation will last. I mean, it could last for another century or so. You never know. But what if it's not? And right now I'm in a place where I'm in a very I have this little advantage for being a first mover, right? By virtue of being a first mover, I should leverage all that advantage, and timing is very important in these sort of things. So that's the struggle that I'm going through right now.
Nice. So that's very well articulated. One thing that I want to ask you is, that now after reaching million followers, I'm sure you are no less than a celebrity. So how has life changed before and after? Like I'm sure wherever you go, people must be one photo Sharan, one autograph Sharan, girls might be chasing you. So how has life changed?
Life has changed quite a bit, I would say. Like all that things you said, except for the girls chasing. All the other things
I don't believe you.
So yeah, I mean, so when I reached 10k followers, I jokingly told my sister, now people will start taking selfies with me. Right? I never meant it seriously, but once you cross like 100k, then that's when people start recognizing you in public, and it's a very great feeling. I am not going to lie. I'm not going to say, I don't like the attention. I don't like, taking pictures and all. I enjoy it. I'll say the truth only. I like the attention, so that is nice. But one thing I would say is, it happened too fast, right? When it happens too fast, it gets to your head, right? So calming yourself down, grounding yourself is very important, because at the end of the day, they are following you because you add value to their life, right? It's not like, you said I'm a celebrity. It's not like I'm a celebrity. It's because I'm helping them. That is the reason that they follow me, right? I'm not, a cricketer or a movie star as a celebrity, right? I'm there to help people, right? So it's just reminding myself of that and understanding that, I got lucky and I did hard work, true, but I was at the right place at the right time. So I also need to be, grateful to the fact that, I was fortunate enough to be at the right place at the right time, right? So that's also there. So being grateful for that.
Nice. So you have achieved a lot till now, and that too very quickly. So what's the next big thing for you? Like, what is your plan with this? Because now this is what you have found that you like.
Right.
Okay, so now from 1.6 million, what is your goal? Anything other than that you're working on? Any big project?
Yeah, like I said, once a creator reaches a certain level, then they will think of looking at other monetization methods, right? So brand deals are there. So my next thing would be to launch a personal finance course, right, which is going to be launched soon. So the idea here is that, on Instagram, I only talk for 30 or 60 seconds max, right? And a lot of people, it's not enough for a lot of people. They want like a proper, like I get so many DMs every day asking people asking me, do you provide a personal consultation? I would like to pay you for your services. I can't offer that because I'm not a SEBI registered investment advisor. So what I can do is I can provide an education. I can create an education course to like a do-it-yourself model and keep it as simple as possible. So that is what I'm working on. It's been a passion project of mine for almost 3 months now. So it's going to be launched soon. So that's number one. Second thing is I'm also writing a book parallelly. It's about my journey of how I reached million followers in 1 year, so that I'm sharing all my social media strategies with the world. So any new content creator who is just starting up can pick up this book and learn everything that I know. Right? And the idea is like every 2 to 3 years I'll keep updating that book. Right? Whatever I learn, if I'm still relevant and whatever I learn is useful, I'll keep updating that book. And I'm also talking to other people in other fields, like in fashion, in finance, in long-form content finance, people in travel who have also made it big. I'm also talking to them to get their learnings and put it into my book. So that's what I'm doing. And last thing is I'm also launching an app, which will be like a Discord community sort of an app, wherein right now it's like many to one connection. Right now it is many to one connection, right? Like 1.6 million people looking at my content. But I want to create a platform where it will be many to many connection, where people are coming to that app not for me but for others, so that they can learn from each other and educate each other. So that improves financial literacy of our country. So these are the 3 side projects that I'm working on. So
that's a great idea. I think your main thing is to make finance simple for everyone.
Yeah.
I want to know, how do you personally invest and what is your investment strategy?
How do I personally invest? So I follow the goal-based investing method. So right now I don't have any short-term or medium-term goals, right? I'm single. I'm not looking to buy a car. I don't want fancy cars, right? I'm not looking to buy a home also, because I feel, buying a home at a young age is not good. So all I have right now is the long-term goal, which is financial independence, right? So assuming that the only goal I have is long-term goal, I first look at the asset allocation, how I would invest. So I'm investing about, around 60 to 70% in equity, and in that 60 to 70%, around 40% is going to domestic equity and 20% is going to US equity.
So is it direct stocks or?
No. I will only invest in direct mutual funds, right? And then next, the remaining 20% would go into debt, and then about 5% in gold, 5% REITs, 5% is crypto, and 5% is alternative investment asset classes. It could be equipment financing or secured bonds, that sort of investments. So yeah, that's how I'm investing my money. Very simple. Not trying to be too complicated with stock picking and all of that. Although I would want to do that, but I'm just too scared that I might get it wrong. So I just want to keep it simple. Let the best money managers of this country manage my money, and my job is to just pick the best money managers, and they will do the right picking, stock picking for me. And that's the thing. What I feel is most people think that investing ka matlab stock picking, right? That is the first thing we think. Like when I ask you cricket, first thing in your mind will be Virat Kohli. We always want to think about the best thing in any field. But what most people don't realize that before you even pick your stock, there is so much of information that you haven't even learned. For example, insurance, taxation, asset allocation. All these three things people don't even care about. We immediately want to know, is it the right time to invest and what stock to pick. Market timing and stock picking is given more importance than asset allocation and building the foundations of personal finance. And that is a problem, I think, with today's India. Because the moment they think it's stock picking, they think it's like, gambling, too difficult for me, I'll just stick to fixed deposit. But there are so many easy things that you can do, which you should do, right? And once the easy things are done, then go to stock picking, right? So that's the
takeaways: have a goal-based approach and focus on asset allocation.
Right.
You mentioned about cryptos also. So there has been a lot of sell-off in the global markets, even in the crypto markets.
Yeah.
So what's your take on cryptocurrencies in the future NFT space? So what's your take on that?
Well, I personally am very bullish, right? So I feel cryptocurrencies is going to, as a currency, I feel there won't be many of them at the end of the day. A lot of them will fizzle out. But obviously, Bitcoin being the first cryptocurrency will definitely be, we will be using in the future, is my opinion. And it will be a legitimate currency. Obviously, right now there is a lot of volatility. But if you study about how an asset class becomes a currency, right? It is the general progression, right? First, first it will have a lot of volatility because first it needs to have mass adoption. Without mass adoption, a couple of whales or big investors will come and fluctuate the price. That is going to happen. That is basic economics. Once insignificant number of people are using, no matter which rich person comes and buys it or sells it, the price won't fluctuate a lot. So that is the law of economics. So that I think is one use case which I truly believe in. Second thing is multiple applications that can be built using blockchain. Right, Ethereum is a great use case. Ethereum with Matic again, it's solving a lot of problems. One example I can give you is in the real estate field, where is something called tokenization. Wherein, right now there is REITs, but REITs is for office properties. What if you want to invest in vacation homes, right? Let's say there is this vacation home in Lonavala. Let's say it's like 5 crores on a hill station. Now you want to buy that property and give it out for rent. Now you don't have 5 crores, let's assume. I don't know if you might have. But let's assume I don't have 5 crores. But let's say not all of us don't have 5 crores. But now all 5 of us can invest in this property together, right? And the proof of ownership of that property will be put on the blockchain. Right. So now imagine this at scale. Thousands of people owning one vacation rental property. Right. So that has right now created liquidity in an illiquid investment asset class like real estate. So that is true use case. Right. Nobody can deny that. Right. So there are multiple use cases like this. Again, there in the supply chain industry also there are so many use cases. So I'm very bullish. Coming to what has happened right now, you cannot comment on how it's going to go from here. I can only comment on long-term prospect of cryptocurrencies and this market, this asset class. But what has happened is most people have entered it from the perspective of becoming, with the hopes of becoming rich overnight. They didn't join for the right reason. So I ran a poll on my Instagram also. How much have you invested in crypto? Around 70% of them have invested less than 10,000 rupees in crypto. And 50% of them have invested less than 1,000 rupees in crypto. So you can see clearly that people are not doing it seriously, right? They're just invested because other people have invested. So that is what it is. And then when I asked how much money did you lose after this bear, around only 10% of them have lost more than 1 lakh rupees. Right? It's a very small number. Very small. Few people in India actively trade in or invest in crypto. But I keep it simple again. Right? I don't go with I don't invest in NFTs. Although I launched my own NFT, I don't invest in NFTs. I don't invest in like new cryptos. I stick to my blue chip crypto. Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Polygon Matic. So I just stick to that. And then I also invest in some DeFi projects because I don't want to just hold these cryptocurrencies. I will stake it and get some returns as well. Very simple, right? As long as you do that, I mean, I'm only invest, and also that whatever investment I make, even if I lose that money, I'm okay. Right? I'm going with that mindset also. That is also very important. That's why it's just 3 to 5% of my wealth.
Okay, so basically stick to the large cryptos
Yeah.
and invest.
I mean, if you know what you're doing, for example, you are a full-time derivatives trader. Obviously, you know what you're doing. You will make a lot more money than the average person investing in an index fund, right? Because you know what you're doing. But most people are just blindly copying some Telegram channel and investing. That is not correct, right? If you know what you're doing, and I know people who wake up at 5 in the morning, start reading crypto charts, and make a lot of money. All that is fine. But at the same time, while you're doing that, don't go overboard. Don't invest 100% of your money. That is also wrong. Like if you think you're an expert, maybe like 30-40% of your money you can do. If you're like a very big expert and if you've been doing it successfully for 1 year, 2 years, then you do it, right? But for the vast majority of us, we don't have the time and patience to do that. So then stick to blue chip cryptos. Simple.
True. Now, one thing I want to ask you is, which you mentioned on your LinkedIn also,
Yeah.
that if you were not doing well in your content creation, if you weren't this influencer you are today,
Yeah.
what would you be actually doing?
Right. So if I love this question because I would like to change this question a little bit. I mean, if I were to work for money, then the thing is, see, if I was not a content creator and let's say I'm not financially independent, then obviously I will be motivated to select a career path which pays me more money, right? And as per my skill set, I would say management consulting or investment banking would be the right career path. I'm good at Excel, PowerPoint, talking to people. So these are my strengths. So given these are my strengths, the job which will pay me the most amount of money for these strengths are management consulting and investment banking. So that is what I would do if not for this. But the second counter question which I would like to add is, if I'm already financially independent, then what I would like to do? Then I would want to be like if I'm not a content creator, then I would probably like to I love hiking, so I would be a trekking guide, or just I would like to travel the world. And whichever place I'm in, I'll try to get an odd job there. Whatever job it is, I don't care. It could be like a tour guide there, or it could be like open a small restaurant and manage that sort of thing. Right? That is what I would do if I'm financially independent.
Nice. One thing I should ask you is, like, you are an inspiration to many. What would be your advice to someone who wants to be the next Sharan Hegde? Like, what would you advise him or her? Like, one piece of advice from there, okay, this is what you should do.
I would say a lot of people are doing it. They're already trying to copy me. So I would say, see, the thing is, when somebody is trying to copy you, they will never be able to copy you 100%. And when something is working, everybody is copying. So let's say I am doing my content. Let's say all 4 of you are looking at me and you all say, okay, this content is working, and all of you will copy me. The problem is all 4 of you will start looking similar now. Because when you're trying to copy something, you will be looking similar, but you won't be looking like me, right? Because you will never be able to reach 100% of what I am. But in the process of trying to copy me, you will be similar to the other people who are trying to copy me, right? And that again dilutes your brand, right? For example, in me, right now I do skits, I do acting, I do comedy. People are only able to copy the skit format. Acting and comedy is not like I can copy it, right? So that is what is happening. So I would say, don't try to be like me, right? Because you cannot be like me. For not just me. If I try to be like you, I can never be like you, right? So don't try to be like me.
Create your own niche.
Create your own niche, right? Create your own content style, right? That's what I would say.
I've asked you so many questions. What is, if you were in my shoes, what one question would you like to ask yourself?
If I were you, what I would ask myself? I would... I've never been asked this sort of a question. I don't know, yeah. What I would like to ask myself? I know everything that I know. So, I wouldn't ask me being in your shoes. I would probably ask me, would you like to... I'm talking like you know. I'm like, would you like to invest your money with me? Because I'll handle it for you in the derivatives trading. I think that's what I would like to ask.
That's a great question.
Yeah.
Great. So now let's move to the rapid fire questions. You have to answer very spontaneously. I'll use my phone for that, for the questions. Okay. And it has to be very spontaneous.
I'm ready.
Okay, so let's begin. So, have more time or more money?
More money.
Okay. Read a book or watch a movie?
Watch a movie.
Bangalore or Mangalore? Your preferred
Bangalore.
city? Bangalore.
Yeah.
This is a question which all girls want to know. Is Sharan single?
Single.
Oh, that she is single. If you could have an unlimited supply of one thing, what could it be?
Money.
If someone wants to find you in Bangalore, where they are more likely to see at any restaurant or bar, where they are more likely to find you?
Smokehouse Delhi, Plan B, and Toy.
Great. Your favorite vacation destination place?
Switzerland.
If your life was a movie, what would it be titled and who would play the lead role?
I would like to play the lead role myself because I would like to act in it. The title would be 0 to 1 million.
I think you're going to go more than that, 10, 20.
And I think it would be just like a creator economy focused movie where it's just documenting my story, like 0 to 1 million. Guess all.
I would name it Follow My Man. So you have been inspiration for so many people. Who is your inspiration?
My inspiration, it started off with, it started off with Ali Abdal. But then my content strategies changed drastically, that he no longer is an inspiration anymore. Not because he's not an amazing creator, it's because he's in long form and short form, he doesn't create any content. At this point of time, I don't have an inspiration, I would say. And I think it's okay, right? You don't need to always have an inspiration, right? Because when you have an inspiration, what we eventually do is we'll copy that person,
Yes.
right? So I would say, be inspired to some extent, but then you need to, try to be your own self.
There were amazing thoughts in the entire interview. I loved the interaction, the way you shared your thoughts with so much clarity.
Thank you.
So thank you for all the time, and I am sure all the creators who are watching this would definitely benefit. And again, thank you for your time.
Thank you so much for having me here. It was great talking to you. Thank you.